Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO and encourager to homeschool families everywhere. I want to give you sound, educational, practical tips and advice at the same time making sure that you're enjoying the family journey that you are on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Hello, homeschoolers. I hope you are doing fantastic this week. I certainly am. And hey, I've got to give a big shout out to some of my newest friends who I recently met at a charter school event in San Diego. Isn't it great that we can come together and team up and change education for the better? I see it. I see a movement. It's been building up momentum, and I feel like it's that snowball that's just starting to roll faster and faster down the hill. And I love it. I love what we are all doing. I love how it's all coming together. And yet, it does not mean that it's perfect, and I don't think that's ever the goal. There are always ways to improve. I embrace that. I love that, and I am certainly here to help with that. Back when I was in college and becoming a credentialed teacher, we were all required to memorize the learning standards. We had to know them overall, and then when we were placed at various schools, you then had to master the standards for the grade level that you would be teaching. So, for example, for several years, I taught fifth grade. So I needed to know the fifth grade learning standards inside and out. I needed to know what the students had to master in their math skills, language arts, science, history, because my goal was to prepare them for the following year and the next teacher. But are learning standards provided to all of you, to the parents, to the homeschooling parents? They are not. Now, some of you who homeschool through charter schools get really great charter schools and facilitators and teachers of record who take the time to explain what those goals are for every year. And most of these schools also provide benchmarks and tests, quizzes along the way to make sure that those standards are being met. I do feel like it's important. I don't put a lot of weight on those things, but they are excellent tools to see if there's an area that we're falling behind and we need to catch up in. And so I'm a fan of standards. Again, I don't live to the standards, but I want to be made aware of them. And I want you to be made aware of them as well. Recently, I was talking about the English language arts standards, which are quite in depth because English language arts covers 4 things. There's reading. That's part of English language. You also need to write in your language. You need to understand the grammar and mechanics of your language. And then there's speaking the language, listening to the language. Language is quite complex. So that's important to understand, and making sure that you're doing the 3 different kinds of reading, the 3 different kinds of writing. That is definitely my wheelhouse. And if you ever have questions on any of that, let me know. I am happy to use your ideas for future podcasts. But one of the standards that's out there that shocks parents when I share this with them, by far, it shocks them the most, happens to be the digital literacy standards that begin in kindergarten. So we develop a writing curriculum, and it is digital. We have an online curriculum, which I love because we have students across the nation. And that's wonderful that we can reach so many people all because we have the technology to do that. It's pretty amazing. And I cover so many of the ELA standards. But because it's a technology-based curriculum, we also cover so many technology skill standards, which is also referred to as digital literacy. And when I have families sign up, I do point these things out to them. But all the same, I find it fascinating how many parents will say, "Oh, I thought this was just a writing course. We're not interested in technology. We're not interested in the tech side of stuff. We just wanted a writing program to learn how to write." Well, good or bad, I suppose that's debatable. But realistically speaking, these things, writing and technology, actually go hand in hand today. I think it's quite difficult to do one without the other. And it's valuable to know and understand both. I'm actually going to read from a PDF file that I have, and I'm happy to share this link in the show notes. It is called the K-8 Technology Skills Scope and Sequence. Again, I will link to this. These are free resources out there on the interwebs that anyone can find online. What you will see as I go through some of these is at the very core, students starting in kindergarten are specifically taught with intention basic computer operations, word processing skills, acceptable use policies, and understanding how technology is used for researching and gathering information. So I'm just going to look at this document and let me just point out a few things. In kindergarten, under basic operations, students are introduced to things like how to turn on a computer and log in, how to use pointing devices such as a mouse to manipulate shapes and icons and click on a URL, to check a box, to scroll. They are also taught how to use desktop icons to open up applications or to open up a document. Did you hear what grade this was? Kindergarten. Now, they're not expected to master this. They're just introduced to it at this level. As far as word processing goes, they're learning keyboarding skills, how to properly posture at a keyboard, how to locate and use letters and numbers, and proper left and right hand placement. I am just reading a handful of these to you. I'm not making this up. For the acceptable use portion, it's in kindergarten that children are talked about proper etiquette and the responsible use of a computer and how to gain digital information from it, how to identify cyberbullying and what to do in such a situation. In the research and gathering of information, they are given age-appropriate documents, websites, videos to watch and collect information for specific purposes. That's kindergarten. When you move on into first grade, they continue to work on all of those skills, but they also start to include other things like multimedia and presentation tools, how to create, edit, and format text on a slide. By the time they get into second grade, they continue to build on all of those skills. But now they may be doing other things like learning how to import graphics, changing font size and position on a slide, using painting or drawing tools. Get where that's going? It goes on and on. But let me tell you this. By the time children are finished with middle school, this is 8th grade, they are expected to have mastered all of these things. And as I mentioned, it continues to add on and on and on, so that by the time they're going into high school, they are already clear on how to communicate and collaborate with peers. They have exceeded multiple goals in researching and the gathering and using of information. They completely understand the copyright, the plagiarism. Right now, a lot of AI pieces are being put into that section right there. They have mastered their multimedia and presentation tools. They're taking notes electronically. These are the things that this generation are doing. As homeschooling parent teachers, we cannot sit back idly and think that they're just going to know how to do this. No, we need to structure this type of learning into our lesson plans. I already believe that you can be your child's best teacher. You already have been. What I really want to drive home in this week's podcast episode is how important it is that you know the standards for your child's grade levels, that you get informed, and this one's really critical. For many of us, we must push beyond our comfort zone. Again, I have so many parents, moms specifically, who say, this just isn't my zone of genius. I don't like technology. I try to avoid it. I don't go on any social media. I just stay away from it. Imagine if that's how you felt about math. You know what? I'm just not going to teach it. I've never been a math person. I don't love math. I don't really see where it fits into my life. So I don't see the importance of teaching it to my child. Now, that may sound a bit ludicrous, but when I hear parents say that about technology, that's where my mind goes. It's time for us to get curious alongside our children and learn about AI and learn about apps that college students are using and intentionally work on mastering technology with our children, because these things must be a part of the education we're giving our children. That's the only way we're going to provide a full and robust curriculum and learning environment. So I have 5 great reasons why I believe you should intentionally practice tech as part of your weekly lesson plans. And yes, I am trying to be persuasive today because this is important. And if you're somebody who's pushed technology to the back burner and you're like, yeah, it doesn't apply to us right now, I'm going to direct you back to this document that has a list. If you're like, I don't know what to teach for my child's current grade level, go check out this list. It's broken down by grade levels, and it will give you direction if you're not sure where to start. But yes, I have 5 great reasons why you should start. Number 1, learning technology increases confidence in kids. I see this. I see this in our classes. I see this with our children who come in feeling ill-equipped to do what we're asking them to do, and they are overwhelmed and the learning curve is high. But here's what I see. As soon as they start to gain the basic tech skills we require, like opening a file, navigating our website or our learning site, learning how to use the keyboard and type up their documents, the more confident and the more independent they become. Here's the thing. If we wait too long to teach these skills, we really do put our children at a disadvantage compared to their peers who are gaining familiarity with technology at a very young age. The second reason why I think learning tech at home really matters is that this is a way you can prepare your children for real world expectations. Because schools and workplaces and daily life do require a proficiency in technology today. I don't care if that's typing or researching or coding or even practicing online safety. Having early exposure is going to help your children develop competence in an ever-increasing digital world. We want to make them more aware of all of the things, especially its benefits. And why not provide at home some regular tech practice, like typing up a weekly journal entry or writing a weekly email to grandma. Why not? This is a great time to practice these skills, and you can be the perfect teacher at this. The third thing that I believe is that teaching technology at home will ensure that your children learn responsible and ethical online behavior. This is important. This generation needs our guidance in recognizing misinformation, handling cyberbullying, practicing digital etiquette. I don't think that those skills are necessarily instinctive. I think these are things that must be taught. So it's not just teaching the technology, but it's also having these great conversations so that your kids can recognize safe sources versus clickbait, and that they can understand what online privacy means. And you can help them navigate on the internet wisely. It's so important. Parents who actively discuss these topics are protecting their children while also empowering them with some very smart online habits. Now is the time to talk and to learn these things. Okay, number 4. Let me just reiterate, because you know me, it's the teacher in me. I always like to circle back, keep thinking. Number 1, we want to increase our children's level of confidence. So they need that basic understanding is important. It's also preparing them for what's coming. This is real world stuff. It also is your chance to prepare them to be responsible and ethical online. Number 4, it's just so easy to integrate tech into other academic areas. It makes learning more fun and interesting. So whether you're integrating it with writing or math or science or history, knowing how to use the various educational tools and conduct proper research and create digital presentations. So fun. Our students just finished an expository essay where they got to pick a city in a state or a country and teach us about it. And at the end, we taught them how to go onto Canva and create a trifold brochure. They loved it. Again, it's so easy to integrate these two. Why not? You can use Google Earth for geography. You can use Google Slides and make a history presentation after you've written your essay. Showing our children how to use technology in a way that enhances learning makes the traditional methods far more fun. And last but not least, number 5, strong tech skills are an expectation for the next generation. They just are. We cannot bury our heads in the sand. Just like you would want your child to go into the world knowing how to read and to write and compute math skills in their heads, you also want them prepared for any other future ambitions. Colleges and corporations and most career platforms assume that graduates have a basic understanding of technology skills today. So homeschooling parents, we must equip our children for future academic and career opportunities. The parents who are going to take the time to teach their kids, yes, word processing skills, absolutely, basic computer skills, awesome. But additional programs like Canva, like Google Spreadsheets, any type of coding, when you take the time to learn this yourself and teach it and apply it in a fun way to your learning environment, you are setting your children up for greater opportunities down the road. This could potentially open a whole new world to them. Why would you not? These are 5 great reasons. Let's increase their confidence by increasing their knowledge. Let's get them prepared for what they're going to need to know by doing daily practice. Why not ensure that they are responsible online and making good choices? Why not integrate this into other academic areas? And why not learn alongside them, equipping them for a whole new world of college or career opportunities. It's such a gift that you can give them. Here's the truth. Teaching has gone far beyond learning our ABCs and our 1, 2, 3s. We must also teach technology. It's here to stay, my friend. And if you would like to see how we incorporate the writing with the technology, we have some really awesome digital programs. I encourage you to check us out online at writeonweb.com. That's write as in with a pen or pencil or a keyboard. WriteonWebb.com. 2 B's like my last name. I would love for you to come see what we do and how we do it and to partner together even more as we move forward. Education is changing, and let's be a really big, positive part of that change. I'm here to help. Right on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.